Good evening, everyone, and welcome from virtual Daytona International Speedway. It all comes down to this evening for the Valentine's 80, the final race of the Winter Series. I'm Hannah Newhouse, joined as always by Rusty Walrus. We've had three very exciting races, Rusty, that leads up to tonight's finale. A lot of money on the line, a lot of bragging rights. How excited are you to get things underway on the high banks?
I live for days like today. We have 14 of the fastest drivers on Xbox and PlayStation competing today, and we have a prize pool of over $20,000. You said it. They picked a championship race, and we're taking them to Daytona. They're insane. I cannot believe we were doing this, but the fans at home and us getting to watch this is going to be a very special event. But I think the best part of this is this might be the last opportunity for these drivers to kind of showcase their skills and make their name known, because it might be the last time we see them before the Pro League Season 3. So this is a huge opportunity to not only go out and get that championship and win $4,000, but also, put your name up there with the big names like Buttafuoco and Brooks and Castro and Arnold.
And you said it there. We're going to wild card them here at the high banks of Daytona. Anything can happen. Throw some money, throw some bragging rights, throw a potential chance of racing for a NASCAR team during the regular NASCAR Heat Pro League Series. Anything can happen. So take a look here. We're going to show you how tonight's show is going to break down. We're going to hit the night off with our Xbox drivers first. So they'll take the green flag and race, followed by our PlayStation drivers. And we've got a lot of exciting things happening here, not only tonight with Valentine's Day 80, but we've got some pretty cool things happening over the next week or so here with Xbox, don't we, Rusty?
Yeah, right now, NASCAR Heat 5 is free to play on Xbox. You've seen the car on the racetrack at Daytona. You've seen the social media posts. We are live with the Xbox free-to-play days from February 11th through the 14th. So if you want to hop in that game, give it a try before you buy. It is live right now, free-to-play, and there is a little bit of discount. So if you want to pick it up, it's never been cheaper.
Yeah, so you can get your racing fix on NASCAR Heat 5. But on top of it, NASCAR has been back in action this week. They're down in Daytona as well, starting things off earlier this week. We've got racing action a little bit later tonight with the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. But we've got something extra special going down here at Daytona this week. And Rusty, you know a lot about it here because your name is actually on this car with NASCAR Heat 5 as well with BJ McLeod, Live Fast Motorsports. It's a pretty cool deal. Has it set in that your name, your logo is on a cup car?
It's surreal to say the least. I didn't know what to say when I saw it, and I still don't know what to say right now. But once that thing hit the racetrack, I was just completely blown away. But I'll tell you what, it's not about me. It's about the wonderful people behind the scenes at Motorsport Games, and they're working towards the next era of NASCAR games. I can't wait to see what they have in store, and I'm just proud to be a small part of it.
Well, our friends at Live Fast Motorsports have a special message for some of our drivers taking place in tonight's Valentine's Day 80.
Hey guys, Matt Siff and BJ McLeod here at the Daytona International Speedway, the NASCAR Heat 5 cars this weekend. Such an awesome looking scheme, and we can't wait to see it race in the Daytona 500.
We want to wish all the Winter Heat Series competitors good luck tonight as they race in the Daytona Valentine's 80.
All right, now good luck and go get that championship.
Such a cool deal to hear them down in Daytona. Looks a little bit nicer in Daytona as far as weather compared to where you and I are. It's been a little dreary here in the Carolinas, definitely missing that Florida sun. But hey, it's always sunny in virtual Daytona, which is where, of course, we are racing this evening. A little bit interesting play that we're doing here for tonight. Don't get me wrong. We always have our PlayStation and our Xbox drivers, each platform racing for $4,000 in a championship, but we threw a twist into this, Rusty. We've teamed drivers up on separate platforms to race collectively for an extra $5,000. So we've got teams here that, you know, you're going to hope that your driver does well on the other platform and split that. So take a look at these teams here. Are these any that stick out to you, Rusty, as maybe some hard teams to beat?
Oh, I mean, all these teams are stacked. I mean, anytime Justin Brooks is paired with somebody, see, I'm looking at Elijah White and Joey Stone. They could be tough to beat today. But at Slade Graham and Cody Giles, I'm locking in on them. I think those guys might be the overall winners today, but don't sleep on Castro and Zader.
Yeah, again, these teams paired up here, each on a separate platform. The total combined points between the two of them, the one with the highest, that team will go home with an extra $5,000, $2,500 each. Pretty good little extra incentive here. But our drivers, again, Valentine's 80, we've had a theme each every one of these Winter Heat Series, one race a month. Of course, Valentine's Day right around this the corner here, this up and coming Sunday. And we made sure that our drivers did not forget to wish a Valentine's Day to the special people in their life. Take a look at what your drivers had to say.
My name's Grant Salzano, and I want to send a Valentine's Day message to my wife, Alexandria, who's been so supportive over the last few months as I've been preparing for the Winter Heat Series. Alex, happy Valentine's Day. I love you very much.
Hey, I'm Scott Brown. I'd like to give a happy Valentine's Day to my girlfriend and my kids. Hopefully I can go out there and win this thing for them, bring home some money.
For this Valentine's Day, I'd love to shout out to my wonderful girlfriend, Hannah Bodie. Thank you for all the love and support through this journey.
I would like to wish Samantha a happy Valentine's Day. Without you and your support, I would not be where I am today in my NASCAR Heat career. So from one gamer to another, happy Valentine's Day and happy gaming.
This is Boehner, and just wanted to say happy Valentine's Day to my beautiful wife, Lauren. Love you, baby.
What's going on, guys? Big Red from Stuart Haas Esports. Would like to wish my wife, Elizabeth, and also my kids a happy Valentine's Day.
I would really like to wish a happy Valentine's Day to my beautiful girlfriend, Emily. Thank you for putting up with this.
And we wondered if it was a wig, and we may find out a little bit later. So again, props to his girlfriend, like he said, for the wig. I mean, he pulls it off. It looks great on him. But Rusty, we came off of a NASCAR Heat Pro League Series championship. Daniel Buttafuoco collecting that. We saw the emotions. We went right into the offseason with the Winter Heat Series. A lot of new names involved, a lot of new drivers looking to turn heads, but some veteran drivers as well looking to add a Winter Heat championship to their resume. What do you think, as someone that has competed, that how it would be to add this championship to your resume?
Well, the first season of the NASCAR Heat Pro League, the team, Stuart Haas brought that home with Brandon Gritton. He's no longer with us in esports. Season 2, Buttafuoco picked it up, like you said. But you got to look at a guy like Justin Brooks. He has won anything and everything, won the most races in NASCAR Heat history. He's definitely looking to add that name championship right next to his name in the bio. But he is definitely the strongest everywhere we go. And he's sitting, he's going to be starting the second row here today. But yeah, the pros want to be up there with the champions, but some of these guys, they're really trying to show what they got, and they know that they got the talent to get the job done today. So I want to see who's going to rise up from the qualifier drivers and become champion.
Yeah, we've got some newcomers that have been strong this Winter Heat Series, but we did talk to the drivers and hear what they have to say about what it would mean to them to win the Winter Heat Championship.
Today's not about money. Today is all about winning this race to validate that I can race with anybody. I prove it every week. I race against every one of these guys, and today I'm trying to beat them on the biggest stage, and that would mean more than anything.
Winning the NASCAR Heat Winter Series Championship would mean just about everything to me. It would mean redemption for the past 2 seasons where I've fallen just shy of the championship race, and now we're finally in one, and I'm so happy to be a part of it.
It would absolutely be a dream come true. I'd love to have the name champion right next to mine on my resume. I think that would be the coolest thing in the world.
It would mean my pockets would be full. It would be a sense of redemption, and it would be the highlight of my NASCAR Heat career.
To win this Winter Heat Series championship race at Daytona would be by far the biggest race I've ever won in esports gaming. If I'm able to put this thing in victory lane and to do it at Daytona, are you kidding me? Let's go.
Yeah, to win an event like this would absolutely be amazing. Special events are always really great. No points, anything like that, just bragging rights and money. So I'm definitely 100% down.
Winning the Winter Heat Series Championship would be unbelievable. I mean, there's not many words I could say to explain it.
It'll show that I'm here to compete, and it would be an amazing accomplishment.
Well, more than anything, it would mean so much just to have earned the respect of these Pro League guys and their NASCAR teams who do this every week, and maybe it'll turn some heads for the upcoming Pro League draft.
The Winter Heat Series Championship would be a really great accomplishment.
and it's not easy to get to this level. It takes a lot of hard work and dedication to get to here. Really focused. Hopefully we can bring a strong car there and qualify well and take home another championship. That'll be the goal.
To win the Winter Heat Series championship is something incredibly special. It's the Super Bowl of our sport. To be the one to cross the start-finish line first would be the ultimate summation of what I've learned over the past year.
Well, you heard it from Joe Gornick and many of the other drivers. A little extra added cash wouldn't hurt this time of year, but also those championship bragging rights. And speaking of Joe Gornick, came off of a pretty good finish the last time out from the New Year's 70. But take a look here if you weren't able to join us in January for the New Year's 70 and what you missed. Again, first time here that we are racing the road course on the NASCAR Heat 5 in the NASCAR Pro League Series. Your front row, we've talked about it. Daniel Buttafuoco, the man to watch. Side by side, getting ready to go into turn 1. The preferred line is Buttafuoco on the inside. Lewis Zader, whoa! Definitely a way to make friends here early on here. Ooh, Selby now to the outside, getting the boot by Bain. Sends him off into the grass. Man, with those caution laps now, 16 left to go. Into turn 1, we saw big movers early on here. How big of movers are we going to see again? Whoa! Someone just got sent, middle of a 3-wide situation between Gravett and Bain. 4 wide now. A couple drivers through the grass. Ooh, looks like we had Tedeschi go for a wild ride. Ooh, Buttafuoco on the brakes really early compared to the other two. And Zader, Gravett throw it into turn 1.
A huge pile up here, but that's what happens when you get a penalty.
Now under fire, he's tracked down Matthew Heel, and he's looking for that inside preferred position. Ooh, he's gonna dive it in there. And when you see Daniel Buttafuoco in your rear window or your rear mirror, it's probably not the best feeling, Rusty, because you have hands down one of the best drivers, and now he's in the front windshield. 3 laps to go. Moore and Anderson have made their way down pit road, and look who is at the front of the pack, Rusty.
We still have spots to gain here, opportunities to punch a ticket, so this will be fun to the very end of this race. Buttafuoco saying goodbye to the field. He can't even see him, they're so far back. Buttafuoco gets another win and wins at the Indianapolis Road Course.
Man, Rusty, I feel like we've seen a different Daniel Buttafuoco from midseason last year, coming off of a championship, wins the last time out for the New Year's 70. He is going to be tough to beat this evening.
Yeah, Buttafuoco's locked in every racetrack. He's probably the fastest everywhere we go, or one of the fastest. He's definitely elevated his game from season 2 on. Another guy over on the PlayStation side is Maxwell Castro that's kind of flipped that switch. But we're going to get into this first Xbox race, so keep an eye on Buttafuoco and Bricks. They've been the 2 heavyweights for every time we've come out and done this, but keep an eye out for Jeff Noe and some of these other guys. Slade Gravett, that's the guy I'm keeping an eye on. This is going to be a fun race.
Yeah, and you can see them all there getting ready to go race. Our good friend Jay Pennell actually officiating and calling this down in Daytona. So Jay, fortunately, getting to take advantage of the nice weather down in Daytona. But you mentioned it, Lewis Zader, also Elijah White, both have had great runs so far in the Winter Heat Series. Relative newcomers to the Pro Series looking to find their way on to one of NASCAR's teams this year for the Pro League. Slade Gravett, everyone else got a good little wave there from Jay, but everyone else still looking for those spots. And a lot can happen. We saw a lot of mix-up last year in the Pro League of people swapping teams. People that I thought would maybe come back were not brought back on. So while everyone's goal is that $4,000, ultimately, I think you have to play this race smart as well and prove that, you can be there in the long run as well for wins.
Yeah, you really got to think big picture and kind of race your competitors respectfully and kind of run the event fairly for everyone out there. You're not just there to win by all means at all costs. You're there to do it in the right way. But I'll tell you what, my mentality is usually checkers and wreckers, beating and banging. I want to see some of these guys make some big meaty moves to get the win. So I guess when it comes down to 5 to go, they're going to take the gloves off anyways.
As if you watched the Clash last night, if it's anything like that, we are in for an exciting race this evening. But it's time for the Xbox guys to hit the racetrack for the final race of the Winter Heat Series, the Valentine's 80 up on the high banks. Looking forward to it. Take a look here, though, how this race is going to break down. Again, we've moved up in laps every single time. 2.5 mile racetrack to Daytona, 32 laps, of course, including these 2 pace laps. That 3 times tire wear is going to be a tough one, Rusty.
Yeah, it will play a factor, but that pit window could play an even larger factor. 19 to 20 is kind of the spot they're looking at, but some guys I've heard can stretch it to about 24. So if a yellow comes out, it could really change things up and play into the hands of some of these drivers.
Again, 14 drivers for tonight's field, a little bit smaller than we usually see because it was a qualification process to get into this race. So let's take a look at your starting grid for the Xbox race in tonight's Valentine's Day 50. You mentioned it, that front row looking tough and good to go. Jeff No and Daniel Buttafuoco, great starting spot for Jeff No. Would love to see him pull one off here, but that's your front row.
And looking at row 2 on the inside, it's Louis Zader. This guy's won in the Pro League Series, so keep an eye on him. But on the outside, Justin Brooks. That guy is the man to beat.
And in that fourth or third row, DJ Stagner, and the outside of him is Tom Flitcroft.
In row 4, we're looking at Slagrave. That's the guy I kind of got my eye and kind of keying on in this race. But don't sleep on Elijah Wyatt. He's been the fastest guy, or one of the fastest guys coming out of the qualifier. So look for that 12 car to move to the front.
And here starting in mid-pack in row 5, Tim Moore starting in 9th, and Jordan Bain, again, also locked in earlier in the season in 10th, looking for a good run tonight.
In row 6, we have Josh Taylor in the 41 Cole Custer car. On his outside is Matthew Heel. He's looking to prove he belongs out here with the big boys.
And in that final row, row 7 here is Justin Anasagok and Tyler Dohard. No qualifying time for Tyler, though, but we've seen Tyler do this before. He starts at the tail end, plays a smart race, and usually finds his way to the front. So that is your starting field for the Xbox race here at Daytona International. We're getting ready to take the green here this lap by. Rusty, any final thoughts?
I'm just curious how they're going to get kind of sorted out here early on to see if we have any patience or if guys are just going to kind of work together and try to take that lead. I just want to see if it's going to be a clean race or if it's going to be 3-wide right off the bat, but I can't wait to see the show.
And getting ready to come towards the green flag again, Daniel Buttafuoco, your front row with Jeff No, green flag in the air, getting the push from Justin Brooks. Brooks, a good person to have in your rearview mirror, but quickly jumps down in line with Jeff No. Buttafuoco on the outside with no assistance immediately. That was a smart move by Brooks, Rusty.
Yeah, you saw them all pull down to the bottom line, right on the yellow. That's the spot you want to be right off the bat. I mean, the number one key was to make it through those pace laps clean and get into turn 1 clean, and they all got down there together. But you're going to start to see some guys here, I think, pull out and maybe form a drafting line to get the outside line work here to make some work and make some passes on the outside.
Again, a lot of our field did have to qualify in through the Winter Heat Series. 3 separate races, depending on your finish, locked you in. But we opened this race up to qualifiers earlier in the month. So we do have people that didn't compete the entire time or were not locked in. So these drivers have had a ton of laps put in here at Daytona between trying to qualify and lock into this event. Practiced earlier this evening and last night, qualified as well. So they know what they're doing. They have practiced with each other on the racetrack, and obviously that bottom groove holding tight here. But Rusty, we see this all the time. They get so tight like this, one person gets a little bit impatient, decides to step out, and it's either going to go really well for them and they're going to get some assistance, or they're going to find their way to the back of the field.
Yeah, some of these drivers do have communications with each other, so they're probably not just going to pull out by themselves. So they'll try to reach out to a friend that's on the call with them and say, hey, I want to go. Do you want to go with me? And they're definitely going to need that help. So you're going to need 2, 3, 4 cars kind of lined up behind you to push you past the leader. You really cannot do it yourself unless you get leg back and you can have somebody pushing from behind, but you're really going to need teammates, and that's going to be kind of the theme of the day. Who's going to work with you, and you got to find someone that's going to want to work with you, and just that you can trust that will get you up to the front and up in the lead and kind of race clean together to get to the finish.
Then speaking of racing clean, you've got Justin Brooks and Buttafuoco, your second and third running spot. Those two, plenty of track time with each other between the Pro League the last 2 years, and then finally racing each other for that Pro League championship at the tail end of last year. These two drivers have raced each other extremely hard, but with some of the cleanest moves that I've seen, and aggressive in that aspect too, but they're so respectful with each other. So if I'm Jeff No, and I know that I have Justin Brooks and Daniel Buttafuoco, as well as Louis Zader, we can throw him in this pile as well. Those 3 drivers right there, I would feel, Rusty, are very trustworthy drivers to have you to be pushed by through Daytona.
Yeah, you said it. These guys aren't known to kind of move you up out of the way or intentionally wreck you, so they're going to keep it clean and respectful, race you how you want to be raced. But yeah, Jeff Noah's going to be looking in that rear view mirror. As soon as you start to see a little bit of gap behind him, maybe that's when you're going to see Brooks and maybe Butterfoot go pulled out. So he's kind of managing that gap right now. He's trying to keep just about a half a car length or a little bit more from the car behind him. But yeah, Brooks is right on him, pushing really hard. These guys are nose to tail, and they're not full throttle. They're kind of just feathering that thing. They're just kind of getting it right in the comfort spot, keeping that gap, managing that gap with the draft. And if you're familiar with the game or you're new to the game, the draft setting is set to normal. So these guys have a pretty strong draft effect out there as is. So they can really feel while they're riding out there in the draft. And if you pull out, anybody that pulls up with you will be a huge help and a huge factor. But right now, they're kind of just managing the race, managing that gap, and just kind of keeping their position.
Yeah, Tim Moore in the 77 riding in 7th at the moment. Currently starting to break away with the front end of the pack, leaving Taylor just so slightly. But Justin Brooks, you said it right there. They're not going full throttle. No one's pushing it right now, and you can see it on Justin Brooks' face. We got a smile out of him there momentarily. Doesn't look like he's too stressed at the moment because we talk about it, Rusty. This race is a game of patience. It's a game of attrition. And then give us about 5, maybe 3, I don't know, white flag lap, and it all goes out the window.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get with these races, and especially I tuned into practice the other day. These guys right off the bat were going 2 and 3 wide, so maybe they got together and said, hey guys, let's just hold back just for at least the opening 5 laps. Let's get settled in, and then let's get to racing, because I know there are some guys back in that pack that do really want to race. You're looking at Slade Gravett. He's back in 14th. I think he's just being patient right now, because we will see him up at the front at the end of this race. But Tyler Doher, he's eventually going to work his way forward. Bane's a guy that I saw racing for the lead in practice, so keep an eye. You're right on board with him in that's Jones' car, but I got confused with the Martin Truex looking car. But yeah, keep an eye on these guys. They're going to start to want to get to racing here pretty soon and make some moves towards the front.
Yeah, Slade Gravett was up there as well. Slipped back to the tail end of the field and is slowly trying to pick his way up through the field again. Now in that 13th position, tough to make up any room right now on the racetrack because, again, it so requires you to be in line with the draft. You either need assistance or a really good run or to wear out your equipment quicker than everyone else. Again, no one's really full throttle at the moment. Everyone's saving fuel. So Slade now back to that 14th spot. You have to wonder, is he saving Rusty? Or what could possibly be going on right now in the 21 pit? Because Slade, usually one of our front runners, is at the tail end of the field.
Yeah, I think he's just being patient, getting around guys he wants to race with. It's still early on. All he has to really do is stay within touch of the drafts, stay in touch with these cars in front of him, and you're probably going to be all right as long as there isn't a big one in front of you. But Slade, I think, is just playing it safe. But I was looking back at Jordan Bain back there in that 19 car. He was kind of lagging back. You can see that gap right there. He might be setting up a pass here. That's like the perfect distance you want to be. So if those guys get lined up behind him, they're on the bottom. Matthew Heal's right there behind him. If they get a line up, they're going to go to the outside and make some passes probably down the backstretch.
And Rusty, we talked about those pit windows a little bit earlier on in the race when we were breaking down the details of it all. 19 to 20 laps. You said you watched practice. We've seen drivers really try and push that window when it comes to the fuel strategy. Obviously, fuel saving at the moment. Do you expect to see any of these drivers maybe try to come in early and push on the back end of it, or maybe try and go a little bit longer than everyone else and staying out to the 24 lap mark?
Yeah, the way these guys are riding right now and driving right now, I think the strategy is to go as long as they can, as many green flag laps as they can, and then they'll kind of come in at the last second. You mentioned it, 19 to 20 is the window, but if they're in line like they're right now, just kind of pedaling it, feathering it, they can save up to 24. Some guys probably cannot make it that long, but that's what they're doing right now. It appears they're just kind of comfortable riding right now, which is a complete shock to me. It is the championship race. It is the finale, so they don't want to get too wild early on. They want to be there at the end. But you know what? If I was out there, I'd be putting it 2-3 wide, trying to make some moves, go to the front. We see Anasaga back there in the 7 car. He's just kind of just floating there on the outside, maybe just making sure he has some room around him in case an incident occurs. He'll get by it. But I'm just very interested in this strategy early on by our leaders.
Everyone obviously practicing patience, and I feel like we start to talk about this every time, Rusty, and then it goes out the window because we've seen some aggression throughout the Pro League season. Honestly, we went to the Indianapolis road course last week, and that was just absolute melee. Most of the race, shoving off of the track by each other. Buttafuoco with a dominant performance though, but you go from a wild card race like the road course, and then we throw them on a super speedway where they have to be patient, they have to be precise, they can't, blow into a corner and try and recover. So the tempers and anything that maybe happened at the New Year's 70 has to be put to the wayside right now, because you have to be so careful here at Daytona to stay in that draft, make sure that you're in the prime location for anything to happen. And looking at how our last couple races played out, that there's a little bit of tension, a little bit of redemption. And speaking of redemption, I think that we're really going to have to pay focus to Justin Brooks, because Brooks, like we had mentioned earlier, Rusty, so close to that championship finale last year. And like you said, one of the most winning drivers here in the Pro League, still looking for that championship title.
Yeah, he's still going to be the man to beat at the end of the day today. He's right there in that perfect position, top 3. He's right where he wants to be. And you talked about that patience. That's what everybody's showing here right now. But you never know. Like we talked about, once somebody decides they want to get to racing, it's going to be there's going to be a lot of action out there. We saw when we took these drivers here to Daytona towards the end of season 2 in the Pro League. They were 2 and 3 wide, putting on a show. So they're fully capable of doing it when they want to do it. And I would love for them to do it pretty soon here to show the people at home what they're capable of, because they can go 3 wide at Daytona. Usually 2 wide is kind of pushing the limits here if you're out there racing with your buddies or friends online. That gets kind of sketchy, because any little bit of contact can send you up into the wall, send you to the back of the pack. But these guys can execute it 3 wide, and I'm looking forward to looking for them to show the people at home how they can do it, because it's really, really tough when you're right on that thin line between being up in the wall and out of the race and working your way forward. So, but yeah, right now they're just kind of cruising, and it looks like we're about 5-6 laps away from pit stop. So keep an eye for these guys to signal down the backstretch for when they come. They're going to kind of take a little peek below the double yellow to signal it. And when they come around 3 and 4, they're going to pull down off the racetrack, down onto the apron, and get down there. And getting into pit road is pretty tricky. It's a little deceiving. The entry point sneaks up on you faster than most tracks, I feel like. So speeding penalties could play a huge factor in today's race.
Yeah, 19 laps still to go at Daytona, now down to the 18 mark. Jeff No still your leader, with Justin Brooks, Daniel Buttafuoco, Louis Zader making up your top 4. Rusty, I want to get into it really quickly. When we race the Pro League every year, our good friends over at Fanatec hook our drivers up with an awesome setup. The wheel, the pedals, everything, you name it, they've got an awesome setup over there. But some of our drivers this evening and throughout the Winter Heat Series have been playing on controllers. In a situation like this, do you feel that there's an advantage or disadvantage to one or the other in super speedway racing?
Oh, you're definitely going to want to have a wheel if you have the option to run the wheel, especially the Fanatec wheel. You just want to put little tiny inputs into that thing to keep your car just straight, smooth, and not wobbling all over the place, because once you get to do that, you open up gaps on the bottom guy. It turns into an ugly situation real quick. So if you're on a controller, it feels like you might have a little bit more when you start to see them kind of wiggle left and right. We caught kind of the wobbles online when we see them get up to speed. So I feel like there's a huge advantage to the steering wheel, but you can get the job done with the controller. The draft plays a huge factor into that, and you're kind of, it's not as technical as running some of the other oval tracks in the game. Daytona and Talladega, you're kind of just managing your line and trying to stay in line, and it's you're kind of full through. Oh, it looks like we're coming down to pit road. Maybe a little bit of schedule here, and see if they get in here nice and clean. 19 cents it. But he gets it, looks like he got it woe down just in time.
Whew, everyone fanned down pit road. You can see Brooks, Buttafuoco comes down. Jeff No, Louis Zader, Flitcroft, Bain, more amongst those. Stagner stayed out with Taylor Heel, Dohar, Elijah White, Gravett, all of them still on the racetrack. So we've got 2 separate pit cycles at the moment. Almost a sketchy situation there, Rusty. It looked like everyone was going to maybe try and psych each other out on when they were going to go. Obviously, should have signaled if they were coming down pit road. But we almost had a couple drivers not get woed up quick enough.
Yeah, some guys are definitely not showing all their cards and telling the field what their strategy is. But that's kind of the game. You don't want to come down by yourself, but you also don't want to come down with 20 other guys and take yourself out. So you see about half the field stay out right now. That's a good strategy for these guys. So you can probably expect them to come down the next couple laps. They were at the very end of that kind of lead pack, so they were saving more fuel than everybody else. So they might come down here in the next lap or two. But yeah, you definitely you want to kind of have a plan instead of just send it down there with everybody else and like on the last second, because that can result in a speeding penalty or maybe even taking somebody else out and ruining the race. But so far, it looks like everybody made it out of pit road clean. Looking at the leaderboard, no penalties, and looks like they're going to get back in the draft pretty well here.
And that puts us at 15 laps to go. We see the number 7 come down pit road of Justin. We got a little group starting to race here back at the front as we're going to get ready to cycle back through. But again, that second group of, or the first group of people that came down pit road, now out on the racetrack by themselves, with Buttafuoco leading that pack over Moore. And then you've got Justin Brooks right there. So a little bit of a swap up in that group, which I think will be interesting when everyone cycles through here. When they came down pit road, Rusty, we're assuming everyone took 4 tires here, and they should be relatively good to go the rest of the way. Say we get a caution, you think that's going to throw everyone off here?
Well, it looks like this group's coming down to pit road. Oh, Elijah White gets turned on the entry to pit road. Holy cow, let's hope he gets that thing straightened out and doesn't get a penalty on top of that. But yeah, that's what happens when you're not coordinated coming down to pit road. And oh my goodness, I'll look for an update on that 12 car. But yeah, second pack having problems entering pit road.
Yeah, tough deal to get slowed down. Again, it's a 2.5-mile racetrack. You can only imagine the speed they are carrying to get slowed all the way down, get down pit road, and do so while trying to maybe hope the guy behind you doesn't follow you down pit road. So Heel currently your leader, Dohar, Stagner, Gravett, Taylor was that group that came down pit road. Looks like Elijah White was able to get that thing going again because we are still green with getting ready to be 12 laps to go here at Daytona for the Valentine's 80 in the Xbox platform. So far, so good. Here comes Matthew Heel getting ready to come down to pit road. You can see it there on the side of your screen. Elijah White still out front, though, with Gravett still needing to come down pit road. So those two on a completely different game plan compared to the rest of the field. But when they do come down pit road, and it should be relatively soon, they're getting pretty low here on laps. And that puts Buttafuoco, Moore, and Zader to the front of the field here. With Buttafuoco out front, Rusty, what are we expecting to see here?
Well, if you're looking at right here, Slade Graven is trying to hang on to this lead pack draft. He came off of pit road by himself, and he had no drafting partners, and it looks like the leaders are pulling away from him, and this is complete heartbreak for the driver of the Toyota. Maybe he can get a little bit of momentum here. Maybe somebody will kind of lay back and give him a little bit of that draft, but Slade Graven's got to get back in line if he's going to want to be in contention. But the thing I want to point out, the lead pack that pitted first, they were working so well together. Oh, we're right on board here with Elijah White. Complete heartbreak. This driver was running top 5 at all of our Winter Heat Series events. He's had a little bit of bad luck with the finishes, but he's had the speed. So I feel for Elijah White here today. But getting back to the leaders here, they were so coordinated on getting down to pit road, off pit road. They were just running nose to tail and pulling away on that second pack. So they have executed the race to perfection here early on. So got to give credit to these top 6 drivers. They did it perfect. In that second group, you saw when they came down pit road, it was a little bit of a cluster, and they're about 10 seconds back, 17 seconds back from the leaders.
Yeah, again, many practice hours went into not only this race, but every race that these guys race in, whether it's a Winter Heat Series or one of the regular races they run throughout the week. And Rusty, outside of even the Winter Heat Series, someone like Daniel Buttafuoco, Kyle Arnold, who we'll watch a little bit later on in the PlayStation platform, these guys race practically every night, whether it's in the Pro League, whether it's part of the Winter Heat Series. There's plenty of other series out there as well. These guys turn their laps every single week.
Yeah, Daniel Buttafuoco isn't just running in the NASCAR Heat Pro League and the Winter Heat Series, as you mentioned. He's running, I feel like, every single night in a bunch of different leagues. So these guys are part of the community. They're out there every night racing. And you got, like everybody viewing at home, you can get part of these leagues as well. We have preset leagues. We have custom setup leagues. We have kind of fun events out there that are community driven. So if you're looking to get into any type of race, oh, it looks like we have a caution with 10 to go on the racetrack. This is going to change everything, Anna. They're going to re-rack with stack, and everybody's back in the same strategy.
And that yellow being thrown for a wreck on pit road. So we've talked about it the entire race, Rusty. Pit road, obviously difficult to get slowed down and then also maybe get down as well. So that yellow flag in the air with 10 to go here at Daytona for the Valentine's 80. That will shake things up here because now we're back to double wide. Should put Tim Moore and Daniel Buttafuoco on your front row, allowing Zader to be right there amidst the group. Going back to this double wide, we would expect everyone to want to jump down to the bottom, Rusty, but with the laps winding down, could we see this outside row make a run for it?
Oh, they're going to have to get coordinated immediately if they want to keep their track position, because look for the outside here with Tim Moore. He's going to be really aggressive here to keep that spot on the outside, see if Brooks can get up on his tail and push him, because this is the race right now. You got to make moves while you can.
Yep, 7 laps to go at Daytona. Buttafuoco still your leader. Moore losing a little bit of momentum on the outside. Ooh, contact with No and Brooks back to back. That outside lane quickly losing momentum. They're taking with them Matthew Heel. Contact with the wall. Looks like Tim Moore gets into the wall, loses the pack. Able to keep it going though. So Brooks now getting some assistance from No. Brooks ducks to the bottom row, will join the draft, leaving No out to dry with Matthew Heel on the outside. Those two are quickly losing the front of the pack and going to have to slide in line, Rusty. We said it. They were going to have to get it together quick, and they didn't get it together quick enough.
Yeah, complete heartbreak for Tim Moore in the 77. That just is what happens at Daytona. We've all done it. If you've ever been to Daytona, all it takes is just a little bit of contact. When they're weebling and wobbling there through 1 and 2, it kind of sends you up into the wall, and you make contact with the wall. You lose all your speed, all that momentum you built up. So Tim Moore's race is over unless the caution breaks comes out. But yeah, complete heartbreak. He started on the front row with less than 10 to go. But everybody did what they had to do to get down to the bottom. That's the place to be, hugging that yellow line. But I'm still curious. When are we going to start to see these guys kind of work their way on the high side here? Maybe play a little bit of games, leg back, get some help, get the big run. So keep an eye on the gaps in these cars, about 5, 6 on back. That's where you're going to kind of want to be. As you see Justin Brooks giving a little bit of gap right there. He's got Slade Graven on his bumper. I think we're going to see a big run down here, down the back stretch. We're going to get some passing here.
I was just seeing the scoreboard there and seeing Brooks in 5th and knew that he had something up of his sleeve. We talked about Gravett hanging back as well. Smart of him and smart driver that we've seen many times play out for him in his favor. Those two teaming up now, looking like they're going to try and get a good run here whoa! The 20 of Flitcroft fans out there and takes with him Bain. So Gravett and Brooks getting the push almost to the front row. Contact between Gravett and Brooks. Brooks 3 wide, high and into the wall. We've got one spinning down the backstretch. Justin Brooks clearly frustrated, as you see below. Caution is out here at Daytona with 5 to go, Rusty.
Yeah, I think he thought his race was over there for a split second, but that yellow really saved him. But they went 3 wide, and that was a little bit of a cluster going down the backstretch. I thought it would be kind of 2 by 2 by 2, but it really fanned out and got pretty wild pretty quick. And I don't think the outside line knew where to go with Brooks and Gravett. Maybe that's part of the frustration, is where are you supposed to take that run when everybody's fanned out, blocking every line, not really like staying in a line. So it's a little bit of frustration there from Brooks, as you saw, but that was the strategy. Lay back just a little bit, 3, 4, 5 car lengths, get the run, and that's all it takes. You can do it within a half lap and work your way up to the lead. So we're probably going to restart with about 2 to go here, and they're going to have to go immediately. So whoever's on the outside of this restart, we saw earlier, they're really going to have to be on it and hopefully avoid contact.
And you can see at the tail end of the field, Justin Brooks unfortunately involved in that. You can see the frustration with that driver. Looks like his hopes of winning this championship may be up, but 3 to go at Daytona. Your front row with Zader and Buttafuoco. Zader getting the jump over Buttafuoco, who was stuck on the outside. It's going to be a matter of getting some assistance, and already the outside row has abandoned Daniel Buttafuoco on the outside. He makes contact with Jordan Bain on the inside. Can he slip down into the draft? He does it, so he's safe for now in the 5th spot, but the laps are winding down, Rusty.
You just saw him from 2nd to 7th. He had to get down there as fast as he could. That's about as clean as you can do it if nobody's going to help you. But look at the outside line working there in the back with Slade Gravett. He's going to need some help. But holy cow, Anna, we're about to come to 1 to go. Who's going to make the move to win the championship?
Everyone's patience now running thin. Lewis Zader, your leader, two of the big contenders, Buttafuoco in 5th and Justin Brooks in 10th. Taking with him Justin Anasogok in the 2nd spot. He's been mid-pack all afternoon, but been able to pull up here into the top 3 with Jordan Bain, Tom Flitcroft. All 3 of those drivers, newcomers here to the Winter Heat Series, looking for a spot on a NASCAR team this up-and-coming Pro League season. A win tonight would solidify that here on the final lap. Down the backstretch, they'll fan out into 3 and 4. Looks like some melee in the middle of the pack, but right now Louis Zader still holding strong, not even flinching a muscle. Pressure behind him from Justin Anasogok and Jordan Bain, but will not be able to do it. Louis Zader will capture the victory in the Valentine's 80 here at Daytona for the Xbox. You can see the excitement, the relief, Rusty, on Lewis's face.
Holy cow, yeah, when you're the leader, you're kind of a sitting duck. That was amazing job by Louis Zader to go out there, hang on to the lead, and bring that thing home. Louis Zader, what's up, buddy? You're champion. Holy cow, what a race from those guys. Man, so impressive just to bring that thing home clean, because anything can happen there in the last lap. We saw the guys trying to work the high line in the back. There was not enough time. They ran out of time. They had to get that coordinated early, but Louis Zader put himself in perfect position, restarting in that front row in P1 late, and he held that bottom. He hugged the bottom, and yeah, he's now your Winter Heat Series champion. Oh!
Little carnage after the fact, never hurt anyone, but Louis Zader now a champion. He was one of those drivers that we watched during the Pro League, was there but never really to capitalize on that opportunity. I think this is the momentum that he has found, he's needed. I'm looking forward to watching him, and hey, he's $4,000 richer, and we're going to talk to him about that a little bit later. But tough breaks for some of our regulars, Rusty. You know, Daniel Buttafuoco was there. This caution really not playing him any favors, as well as the reason for the caution, Justin Brooks, tough break for some of our regular drivers.
Yeah, that was kind of the storyline of the night. When that yellow finally came out, the guys that were on the outside, their race just went completely out the window. They were running top 3 all day. Brooks and Buttafuoco, they were up front, and those 2 yellows back-to-back took them both out. So it just shows you how tough it is to kind of win these deals, and a little bit of luck plays into your starting position there on the restart. But yeah, even the best in the business, they need a little bit of help out there at the track like Daytona, and they didn't get it. And I think some of these guys are kind of kicking themselves right now that finished back in the pack. Maybe they wish they would have maybe started a run earlier than they did to kind of get the win. But congratulations again to Louis Zader.
Yeah, if you're just joining us now and didn't get to watch the entire 32 laps here of the Xbox race, don't worry, we've got you covered. Take a look here at our highlights. And again, so exciting to see Louis Zader capture that win. But we couldn't do the Winter Heat Series or NASCAR Heat here without our good friends at ITC St. Pete. So Motorsports Games and ITC teamed up. They're giving away a high-performance Portal EV router. Therefore, you can have worry-free Wi-Fi, extended coverage. It's got 9 built-in antennas. I mean, if that doesn't say it all with your coverage there, I don't know what to tell you. You pretty much have 99.99 lag and latency-free Wi-Fi. No more fighting over Wi-Fi. We have a giveaway going on right now on our social media. Head over to it. You can follow those rules and enter to win. I'm definitely going to go enter to win here so that I can continue doing lovely NASCAR Heat broadcasts here with the best Wi-Fi out there. But Rusty, again, an exciting race for Louis Zader. We're going to get the chance to talk to him here in just a moment. So we're going to go ahead, and I'm excited for the PlayStation race. I will say that, but the newcomers really stood out here to me because you've got drivers that played smart races like veterans. You've got Justin Anasogok, who finished second. You've got Jordan Bain, who was there, Tom Flitcroft in the top 5 as well. These guys obviously wanted the win, but if you're a NASCAR team, you've got to be looking at them and weighing your options here on bringing them aboard.
Yeah, the drivers that made this race are really 14 of the fastest out there in the world playing NASCAR heat. They race their way in through the qualifiers in those lobbies, and they got to be perfect. Got to make perfect laps. Every single lap's got to be perfect. So they were flying out there, and man, they all deserve to be here. But Louis Zader ended up being the guy on top of the race today.
Again, 10 grand across each platform there. So our top 5 went home with a pretty good little pocket of cash. But the man that took home $4,000 in the championship, Louis Zader, joins us now to talk about this championship run at Daytona International Raceway. Louis, first and foremost, congratulations on the win here at Daytona, the Winter Heat Series champion. Has it set in yet that you are a NASCAR Heat champion?
First of all, thank you. And not really. Probably going to set in here in a couple minutes after the interview's over. But yeah, it was just hectic. I was just trying to stay smart throughout the entire race and was able to do that and got a couple of lucky cautions that fell my way and we were able to bring it home.
Hey, Louis, congratulations. I just got to say, we know Chip Ganassi likes winners, but we got to believe Chip Ganassi loves champions. You are adding your name to the list of champions at Ganassi. What does this mean to you, man? What's going through your head right now?
I'm just ecstatic. It means a lot to me because throughout the first season of the Pro League, I had a lot of unfortunate luck, and throughout some of the races here in the Winter Heat Series, the same. So it's just a sigh of relief to finally have some good luck go my way, be able to bring a championship home to Chip Ganassi.
It's been fun watching you last year throughout the Pro League and through the Winter Heat Series as well. A final question here for you on that final restart. Pretty much came out to a shootout. You had Buttafuoco on your outside, who is obviously one to contend with each and every week. What's going through your head on that final restart? And was there any communication prior to that restart for some assistance because you needed your line to move to win this race?
Well, I got lucky that the people behind me on the inside were I was grouped up with them in the party chat, so I was able to they were gonna push me to the finish there, so I was just making sure I didn't miss a shift there on the starts and just bring it home.
Perfect. All the right moves here landed you this championship, $4,000. Congratulations, Louis, and we're looking forward to watching you race this next year.
Thank you.
Again, Louis Zader, your championship winner here in the Xbox Series. You got to giggle for a second here, Rusty. The emotion hasn't quite set in yet. He composed himself for the interview, but you know when he gets a chance to take a breath and really bring in the fact that he's got a pretty good chunk of change headed his way and a championship, that he'll be able to enjoy it.
Yeah, I can totally relate. Maybe when the camera's on, you get a little nervous. But yeah, once he logs off tonight, the party's on. And his teammate, Maxwell Castro, he's kind of the complete opposite. He's known to celebrate. We've seen his infamous celebrations. He's coming up here next. And he is the teammate of Zader in kind of that prize pool deal going on here. So keep an eye on Castro to not only win the championship PlayStation 4, but also kind of take home the team championship as well.
And we're going to take a look at how this race actually shook out. Your official race results here. Louis Zader again capturing that victory. Good run for Justin Anisogok in that second spot. He's been pretty stout the last couple races. Jordan Bain, Jeff Noe, and Tom Flitcroft rounding out your top 5. Daniel Buttafuoco coming home in that 6th spot after being up front most of the race. And from the back to 7th was Tyler Dohar.
And we're looking at PA. Here's Matthew Hill. Right behind him, Tim Moore. I know he wanted a little bit better day than that. Josh Taylor, another guy. But yeah, Slade Griffin, that's a guy keyed in. He just could never get track position all day. Elijah Wade, problems getting down the pit road. And riding out 13 and 14 is TJ Sagner and Justin Brooks.
Yeah, tough break for Justin Brooks, but that is how your Xbox race shook out. Don't worry, if you're just joining us, we've got a whole nother race coming up here with the PlayStation drivers. We're going to crown a champion on that platform as well. But if you've been watching and you've got the itch to race, don't worry. We've got the fix for you, NASCAR Heat 5. Take a look. Man, if that doesn't want to make you go out and get your own copy of NASCAR Heat 5 if you haven't already, I don't know what to tell you between the racing we've had the last couple months, tonight's racing yet to come, and that commercial always gets me hype. I mean, I'm always sitting here jamming out to it. You love to hear it. And Rusty, people can join this weekend as well on Xbox if they want to go out and get their copy and do a little racing.
Yes, NASCAR Heat 5 is free to play. Right now, it's part of the Xbox free to play days, February 11th through 14th. So through the Daytona 500 and even after the 500, you can play NASCAR Heat 5 for free. So you can try it before you buy it. And if you like it, there's a little bit of discount to get you a little bit more incentive to buy it. So great opportunity. I'm personally a PlayStation 4 player, so I've already got it downloaded on Xbox. So I can't wait to see who was out there in those public lobbies, and maybe some of these drivers we saw in the previous race will be out there racing with us. So really cool opportunity if you're looking to give the game a try for the first time, maybe even on a different console.
Yeah, again, a lot of these guys race throughout the week on public lobbies and that kind of stuff, and they're all super willing to help you. Reach out to them via social media. Everyone wants you to come and race here on the NASCAR Heat platform in any way that you can. Definitely something that'll be taking up some of my off weekends that I have here when I'm not working with NASCAR. But we had 3 races that led us up to this race here for the Valentine's 80. If you weren't able to join us in January for the New Year's 70 for the PlayStation platform, take a look at what you missed. We will take the green flag at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. Green flag is in the air for the PlayStation drivers.
Really set it off down in there and hit the braking zone perfectly to start to filter out the turns 1 and 2.
You can't really bank on a caution, Rusty, to throw off this pit cycle.
Yeah, you're really expecting this thing to go green start to finish in both these races here today. See, Chase Williamson, he's trying to make up these spots after spinning early. He's not holding back here. I'd love to see the hard racing here from the 78. Yeah, a lot of laps, a lot of history. Both of these drivers are multi-time winners in the Pro League in Season 2. But you see Josh Hartman go off track. Always cool to get a view at Josh. He's one of the biggest personalities in the league.
Max Castro, though, in a league of his own right now. 3.5-second lead over Isaac Smallwood.
Right up, Kyle. What up, Kyle? So, that 12 car around, he might be out of gas. Joey, what happened, man, buddy? Yeah, this is great stuff. So Zano's like, all right, just go, get away from me. I need to run my race, click these laps, and quit going off into the grass. But
Gornick and Salzano still with a little bit of Joey Stone. He's made it back on the racetrack here, Rusty.
But a 5-second lead over Isaac Smallwood. Unbelievable performance from Maxwell Castro.
Arms in the air. Maxwell Castro, a winner here once again in the Winter Heat Series. Collecting a pretty good little paycheck that we'll talk about with him later. Coming to the checkered flag, though, your winner here, Maxwell Castro. Isaac Smallwood, we talked about it, coming home in second. Just heard from Joe Gornick, obviously ecstatic about that 3rd place finish. An exciting finish to that race. Again, if you just saw it, both Rusty and I weren't really sure what to say those last couple laps because you just can't predict things at the road course of Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But you know where else you can't predict things? At the high banks of Daytona International Speedway, and we just saw it with our Xbox drivers. It's time for our PlayStation drivers to hit the racetrack for their chance to crown a champion as well. Rusty, anyone you're keeping your eye on specifically for tonight? Because the last couple races we've been out, we've had some rookies really stand out.
Yeah, the rookies have been standing out, but you always got to point out Maxwell Castro. He's probably the hottest driver on PlayStation right now. Cody Giles, also somebody that is a threat. But take a look at Corey Rothgeb. He kind of shows up at these plate tracks, and he won at Talladega in the Pro League. So keep an eye on Corey Rothgeb in the 2. You see him right there in that red Worth hat. So keep an eye on Corey Rothgeb. He's starting on the outside of the front row.
All of those drivers getting dialed in, getting focused, ready to go because, again, $4,000 is on the line. Corey Rothgeb always representing Team Penske there in the Worth hat. I love it. I still have mine somewhere around here that I need to find, as well as Castro. You can see the Ganassi gaming platform behind him. Pretty cool for his teammate to get that win. His Ganassi teammate, I may clarify, to get the win in the Xbox race. But a reminder, there's another race going on within this race, guys. All of our drivers from each platform have been teamed up with a driver from the other platform. Hello, Joey Stone. We'll wave back at you there. So they've all been teamed up, and based on how both of them finish, a combined points overall, whoever has the highest, an extra $5,000 to that team. So looking here at Lewis Zader, his teammate is Maxwell Castro in this. Again, we teamed them up if they were already teams. So Castro, no pressure to him to go out and get that win, but a couple other drivers that we'll keep an eye on as well. We had, Justin Anasalgak, who finished second. Grant is his teammate, Salzano, as well, who had a pretty good run recently. So these drivers, a little extra pressure for them, Rusty.
Yeah, you talked about Maxwell Castro having the pressure after his teammate just got the championship. Now he's got the pressure to pick up even more money and get a championship himself. But yeah, cars are now hitting the track, and let's take a look at our starting lineup.
And your front row, Maxwell Castro, keep an eye on him. Corey Rothgib as well on the front row. Good start for him.
In row 2, it is Kyle Arnold. He has taken over the number 14 car for Season 1 champion Brandon Gritton after he retired. So keep an eye on Kyle Arnold. On his outside is Dylan Penninger in the 96 car.
And in row 3, Joe Gornick been showing up as of lately. TJ McGowan on the outside of him, both looking for wins this evening.
In row 4, we have Cody Giles. He's already won in the Winter Heat Series, so keep an eye on that guy. Now, his outside, Joey Stone. He's still looking for his first ever Pro League win, so driver of the 8 looking for some victory today.
Yeah, and he's been so close. Isaac Smallwood in row 5, starting on that inside, and Matt Smith on his outside.
In row 6, we have Scott Brown and Grant Salzano. These are two guys that have raced their way in.
And rounding out the tail end of the field for your PlayStation drivers, Chase Williamson and Jason Mitchell at the tail end of the field. So 14 of your best here on the PlayStation platform, battling it out one last time here in the Winter Heat Series. The driver taking home $4,000 and a championship is the one who crosses the start-finish line first. No pressure to the other added drivers that you've got a teammate watching you for an extra $5,000 there as well. So your front row with Maxwell Castro and Corey Rothgib coming to that front stretch to take the green for the final time here in the Winter Heat Series. Who will come home a champion? Green flag is in the air for the PlayStation platform. The Valentine's Day 80 is underway here at Daytona. Immediately, your front row side by side with Castro and Rothgib. The push, though, is being given to Castro with Kyle Arnold locked on his back bumper, bringing Joe Gornick with him. The outside row quickly losing momentum as Rothgib slips to the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th position, not able to get down the backstretch.
Yeah, the strategy is, we mentioned, you got to get down to the bottom, right down the yellow lane. But the outside line is working, and it's coordinated. And if you can do that, they can make that work as well. So keep an eye on Corey Rothgib to keep that outside working strong here. He's losing a little bit of ground here, but when you're coordinated like that, you're not going to really fall to the back.
No room for wobble, and as I say that, our front row wobbles here, that inside line really getting the momentum and the move. Kyle Arnold basically touching Maxwell Castro as we maneuver down the front stretch here, getting a little bit of a gap between himself and Joe Gornick. Unfortunately for Rothgib, still quickly slipping back, has been unable to dodge down into that bottom line and join the draft. So we can't say that his chances are out yet. We've still got 31 laps to go here at Daytona. We saw some big movers in the previous race, but tough on the ego to start like that and get farther back than you did start on that front row. But Kyle Arnold, we want to talk about him for a second, Rusty. You mentioned it, take over the 14 for Brandon Gritton about midway through the season here. And it seems to be either having a really good night or a really bad night. I don't feel like it goes one or the other for Kyle Arnold. So to collect a win like this, a championship essentially for it as well, and then to go into the Pro League season would be some form of redemption for Kyle, would you say?
Yes, absolutely. Arnold is one of our veterans in the Pro League, multiple-time race winner. He's always up front, always qualifies well. But you talk about it. He used to have a lot of bad luck or just things that happen out of his control that completely take him out late in the race, and it ends up finishing worse than he probably deserves. Like you see him running P2. He's going to try to keep it there, obviously. But yeah, a lot of bad luck for Arnold, but he is one of the toughest competitors and one of the fastest drivers in the PlayStation side.
Joe Gornick as well had a good run the last race out at the New Year 70, came home in 3rd. That was just good enough to lock him into this race. And we talked to him at that race, and He said that he didn't feel like his potential was really being tapped throughout the Pro League last year, couldn't really get luck on his side, but he feels like he's hit on something, found some momentum, and we see that frequently here on the NASCAR Heat platform in our Pro Series as well, of drivers finding a newfound confidence with a good run, and that's exactly what we're seeing here with Joe Gornick, who's running third at the moment. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's up there battling for the win at the tail end of it, as well as wins throughout the rest of the season. But your leader, Maxwell Castro, we ride along with him. Kyle Arnold, again, wasting no space between his front nose and the back bumper of Castro. But Castro, as you can see on your screen, you'd never know that he had Kyle Arnold basically touching him through the corners.
Yeah, Kyle Arnold right now is right where he needs to be, kind of managing the race, the track position. But Maxwell Castro is trying to manage the lead in that gap. And those best too far out front, they're going to get a run on by you. If you kind of let off the gas a little bit too fast, they're going to blow by you. So you got to keep that really kind of perfect just distance between you so they don't get around you and don't get the opportunity to get by you. So Castro, even though he's up front, he's not just kind of turning left, hugging the yellow. He's got to manage that gap to Arnold behind him. So he's looking in that rearview mirror. You can see kind of wiggle back and forth right there, just managing the lead and managing the race.
One of the things I love about our drivers as well is how they incorporate their team and their sponsors into the streaming and the racing that they do, because again, when you're at home and not at an actual racetrack, it's obviously very difficult to do sponsor activation. But as you saw there, Castro with his gear wrench gloves on while driving on his Fanatec wheel. So any little thing that you can do, love to see it. The sponsor representation for Gear Wrench and Ganassi. Dylan Penninger, though, we ride along with him, who currently runs in the 11th spot. A little dicey in front of him. You saw a couple drivers try and jump up, including TJ McGowan to the outside. McGowan realized that row was not moving, and so ducked down. Corey Rothgibb now ducks down behind TJ McGowan for your 8th and 9th spot. Penninger, though, still on that outside groove, losing quickly any chance of getting ducked down to the bottom. So he's now back to the 12th spot. We'll have to try and tuck in, and it looks like he's done that. Your front row, or your front five, Rusty, you could throw a blanket over them right now. They are all so close between Castro, Arnold, Gornick, Cody Giles, and Smallwood. No room for mistake right now.
Yeah, the top 6 and 7 are really content just to kind of ride in line and be where they're at. We look back to Corey Rothhead in that 9th place area. He's one of the guys trying to get the outside working, so that's an interesting trend to keep an eye on. He's not content to ride in the back. He wants to work at the front and potentially win this thing. We talked about he's won Talladega. So Corey Rothhead is going to try his hardest to kind of get coordinated, get the teammates. Maybe some guys he hasn't raced before to help him and just say, hey, you want to get to the front, come with me. So keep an eye on Corey Rothhead, come from the back of the front. But yeah, these guys right now in the top 3, top 4, top 5, top 6, they're just trying to get to that pit window and get down to pit road clean. And we're still about 10 laps away before we even start thinking about taking a pit stop.
And if you watched the Xbox race previous to this, those pit stops a little bit sketchy. Again, the entrance to pit road, not even the entrance so much, but just the capability of getting slowed way down is difficult here at Daytona. We saw some people try and psych each other out for who was going to go when, and that resulted in, at one point, a caution on the racetrack. And so with that caution, that shook up some pit cycles. We saw 2 real solid pit cycles and a couple other drivers trickle down a little bit later. I think we'll see something similar, but it looks like problems here for Joe Gornick. Again, was in the top 3, has dropped back to the tail end of the field.
Yeah, you got shuffled out right there, and that's what happens when there's no room to pull back in line. You go from the front to the back, and you got to have partners with you, somebody to help. But you see Corey Rothgeb continue to try to make the outside work. Let's see if they're going to try something here down the backstretch. But you see that kind of second pack right there with Joey Stone kind of right in that middle zone. You're going to want to do that if you're going to try to kind of get that momentum built up and build it down the backstretch and head off into turn 3 to maybe make a pass on the guys in front of you.
Well, with Joe Gornick now at the tail end, that moves Cody Giles up to the 3rd spot, Isaac Smallwood up to the 4th, and Brown now your top 5. Joey Stone in the 6th spot, though. We saw it previously, too, kind of maybe just hanging out. You can be in contention mid-pack, basically, throughout most of the race and still be a contender here at the end. So we just crossed the line with 22 laps to go. For our PlayStation drivers, the Valentine's $84,000 on the line in a championship if you're just now joining us. Gornick has his work cut out for him as he's going to have to try and work his way back through the field. But back to the front of the field, Kyle Arnold, no stress on his face whatsoever in that second spot, simply hanging out right now, Rusty.
Yeah, he's got Maxwell Castro right where he wants him. These two drivers used to have a little bit of history. If you go all the way back to Watkins Glen, there's some incident in the final corners, a little bit of drama there. I feel like they've sorted that out, and they now race each other cleanly and respectfully, and they're going to take care of each other out here today. And I think they have committed to being drafting partners throughout the race with Joey Stone and Cody Giles. So keep an eye on the top three, the 1, the 14, 16, and 8 cars to work together. So it is cool to see guys that did have some history kind of now committed to working together in a championship event.
And we heard Louis Zader talk about it as well, being involved in a group, in a chat when that final restart came for him. Everyone was on the same page. What does that involve, Rusty, as far as these guys all communicating with each other? Because they're all in the same Zoom chat together for us here on the NASCAR Heat side to be able to watch, to be able to regulate, and officiate. But a lot of these guys have formed alliances. Ooh, we almost had a driver in the wall there, but everyone kept it going. But what is it for, or how does the communication between these drivers work on a race like this? Because this is not something we see in normal NASCAR. They don't get to communicate with each other.
Yeah, I wish they could communicate with each other in the real racing, but out here, NASCAR Heat, the race control has all the drivers basically in a Zoom meeting, so they're all together. They can hear Jay Pinnell kind of call the race, let them know what's going on, maybe just communicate guys that might need to take a black flag, serve a penalty, or just kind of tell them to clean up the racing a little bit. So Jay Pinnell's in their ear, but also these guys have Discords or other forms of like apps where they can kind of communicate with each other. So they got two things in their ear, and but yeah, you want kind of that dedicated teammate group so you can strategize and plan exactly when you're going to pit and when you're going to make the move. And that is essential at a place like Daytona when you need all the partners and all the help you can get, because you can't win this race by yourself. So this track and Talladega are the two places you really, really need the teammates in your ear.
Yeah, teamwork makes the dream work here at the super speedways. But our friends over at IT Consulting are part of our team as well. And again, they're giving away a high-performance portal EV router on our social media page. You can head over there, go through the rules and regulations of it. For a giveaway, you will have worry-free Wi-Fi if you team up with our friends at ITC St. Pete. Extended coverage, 9 built-in antennas, so you'll have 99.9% lag and latency-free Wi-Fi. Sounds pretty good to me, so head over to our social media for that giveaway to win yourself a free router, thanks to our friends at ITC Consulting St. Petersburg. But 18 laps to go at Daytona. Right now, Castro's still your leader. Arnold, Giles, Smallwood, and Brown, your top 5. Joey Stone still sitting in the 6th spot, waiting to make his move. We are now getting in that window of pit stops, Rusty. What do we expect to see?
Yeah, they have to be coming down here, at least the first group of guys coming down in the next 2 laps, as we saw in the first race of the day over on Xbox. So look for the guys on the backstretch to kind of signal. Oh, it looks like the same thing happened. Nobody signaled. They're all playing games out there. They all came unexpectedly down the pit road, and it looks like they somehow all did it clean, a little bit of contact getting into pit road, but that's just part of the game. No damage should be expected on those 2 cars that collided there once they entered pit road. But if there is, it's just maybe a little team bit, and they can just get that cleaned up later. But yeah, nobody is signaling down pit road today. A little bit of drama that could impact some guys' races. We're going to see if this next group pulls down here, because you need to be coordinated. You need to get down there fast and clean and not take each other out and give each other penalties, because you got to get back out on that track together, get back in the drafting pack and try to stay with the leader. So let's see if these guys pull down pit road here. Looks like they're going to... they're staying out. They might do one more lap around the track and then pull down to pit road.
The waiting game that these drivers are playing with each other. We're trying to outsmart the other one, and we've seen it turn into a little bit of a disaster when they're not signaling and they're wrecking each other essentially on pit road. So fortunately, that first group able to get through and get down pit road for their single pit stop of the evening, if everything goes well. That included a lot of our front row, including Kyle Arnold, Castro, Giles, Smith was involved in that. Williamson stayed out. Chase Williamson with Isaac Smallwood, Brown, and McGowan right now, your top 4. They will need to come down pit road like Rusty had mentioned here soon, because that pit window only between 19 to 20 laps. So there you see them all fan out down pit road here. So big contact here that we've got getting on pit road. We'll see who that is in just a moment. That is going to mess someone's day up, Rusty.
Yeah, that might have been McGowan, but we'll take a look. Maybe we'll get a replay. But yeah, his race could be over unless yellow comes out. But that's what happens when you're not coordinated coming down pit road. We talked about, I saw Rothgeb signal down the backstretch, and he was the only guy to do it, but he was at the tail end of that pack, so it didn't really have an impact on the guys around it. But yeah, those other leaders, they didn't show what they were going to do or maybe communicate it, and we had a big pile up coming down in there, and that car was spinning up into the track. But the interesting strat to see right now, we got these top 3 cars right here working together. These guys are, we talked about it earlier, they're in communication with each other. They're kind of unofficial teammates in today's race. So they're on the same strategy, working together. But let's see how it filters out here down the backstretch as these guys pull out from pit road and kind of blend up into the racing pace. So, Chase Williamson, a little bit issues there. Whoa, yeah. Chase Williamson, so some major issues here with the game. I'm trying to get a feel for this. He might have been some leg issues, just some technical issues on his side. But yeah, Chase Williamson's instant there brought out today's yellow. But I don't think anybody should be trapped down from that caution.
Yeah, that yellow out with 15 laps to go here. Again, most of our field has already come down pit road, if not with that first group or this second one where a couple problems have ensued for drivers like TJ McGowan, like you said, and Williamson. So we'll have to see what the issue was there with Williamson when we get ready to go back green. Assuming no one will come back down pit road here, Rusty, because everyone should be good in the pit window. But if we do see some pit road takers once again, that could really shake up our lineup.
Yeah, I'm taking a look here. Maybe some of the guys did receive damage coming down to pit road, and they would want to fix that for sure. But yeah, the lineup is definitely shaken out. But the place to look, like we saw in the previous race, that outside line, can they keep the momentum? Can they keep their spot, keep that track position? Because they're really going to have to work together, or maybe pull down to that inside line as fast as they can before they fall to the back.
So the green flag back in the air with 12 laps to go. Salzano and Brown, your front row, holding relatively steady so far. Brown getting some assistance from McGowan, as well as Kyle Arnold on that outside row. Not quite ready to give up that outside and try and tuck down, but that's because the inside row giving no room to tuck down. So they're forced with the alternative of trying to make it work. So far, so good down the backstretch. With Brown still holding steady, getting that assist from McGowan and Arnold, but they're quickly losing assistance from the back as cars continue to drop off of their line and try and get to that bottom groove. And you see that as McGowan and them slip. Already Brown to the 5th position. Salzano, your current leader, with Rothgeb, Stone, Castro, and Brown, your top 5. You can see Grant Salzano at the bottom of your screen here, your leader, clearly focused at the moment. Leading laps here at Daytona. That's got to be a pretty good feeling for Grant, Rusty.
Yeah, that caution really played into Grant Salzano's hands as we see Corey Rothgeb get the run to take the high side to maybe make a pass for the lead, but the bottom is all connected, working together, and they're going to leave Corey Rothgeb out to dry, and he's going to probably fall all the way to the back of the pack. Complete heartbreak for the driver of the 2. This is the guy to keep an eye on. Maybe this is a strategy from all these drivers. They want to get him back there so he doesn't have a chance to win. But yeah, the one driver all day that's been trying to make some moves, nobody wanted to go with him right there, and you see what happens when nobody wants to help you.
Yeah, tough break here at Daytona. Again, teamwork makes the dream work. Needs to be a t-shirt sold there at Daytona because you need to have assistance. Unfortunately, single car power doesn't really do much for you. But you can see here Cody Giles there in the 7th position in between Smallwood and Brown. A great shot there of how close these drivers really are racing each other. Some of them on controllers, some of them on wheels, all of them here on the same platform, the same racetrack, in the same race. And that allows for challenges all of in its own, but everyone racing relatively respectful and hard tonight thus far. Joey Stone up to that 2nd spot. You called it, Rusty. Could tonight be his breakthrough night with 9 laps to go?
Yeah, one of the storylines with Joey Stone is kind of unforced, or just mistakes in general. Things that are kind of in his hands that kind of take him out of the race. Sometimes there's a caution that kind of takes away the race from him, the race winning strategy. But can he get to the end of this race and not have, not maybe make some mistakes? Because he's got the race right where he wants to be. This is right where he wants to be. He wants to be right there in P2 because you can make a run, you can make a move right there, and he's got his unofficial teammate right behind him there in P3 with Castro. So he's right. He's in a really, really good position here late, but he's got to be able to kind of keep this race in perspective and think big picture. We saw him at Homestead. He was running P2 late. He told me he would do anything to win the race for his team, but we saw his teammate was out front and he decided he didn't want to move his friend or his teammate or wreck the guy to win. So what's Joey going to do here? I don't think he's teammates with Salzano or best buddies with him, so maybe he's going to do the unthinkable and move Salzano to try to take the lead late in this race.
8 laps left to go here in the PlayStation race. Again, your leaders still Grant Salzano, Joey Stone, Castro, Williamson, and Mitchell, your top 5. We've got a lot of rookies here up inside the top 10. Rusty, again, this was an open qualifier, so we did have the drivers that locked in via the previous races in the Winter Heat Series, but we also had these open qualifiers as well. And you see Smith, you've got Williamson, Salzano currently, who's even the leader, running up here with our regulars in the Pro League. They've got to be feeling good about that and their chances of turning the heads of a NASCAR team and being drafted for the Pro League.
Yeah, absolutely. Salzano leading the race. But look now, Chase Williamson, 4th on back, pulls out line, and he has a lot of help from the drivers behind him. It looks like he's going to be able to clear Salzano for the lead. What a perfectly timed run from Chase Williamson in the 78. He had help from the guys coming down the front stretch. They had that line, and the momentum built up for almost a full lap, and then he executed it perfectly down the backstretch, and now he has taken command of this race.
What a smooth transition that was, bringing with him the likes of Gravett and a couple other drivers. Unfortunately, if you were hanging there with Salzano, you've kind of got the short end of that as well, taking with him Joey Stone. So a complete mix-up here in your top 5 with a new leader of Chase Williamson. He's done this before, Rusty. He knows how to execute here in the Winter Heat Series.
Yeah, Chase Williamson is one of those guys. He's super, super, super fast. He's got the ability, but he's a little bit wild. He kind of doesn't really have the respect or he doesn't take care of the other drivers like they take care of him. He's out there to just go win races, though, so that's what I love about the kid. He's just going to go out there, make his car really wide, as you see, so he's going to leave it all out there. He's going to be very, very aggressive to defend that bottom line and maybe any potential passes on the outside. But look at Jason Mitchell right there on his back bumper. That's the place you want to keep an eye on. And the guy in 3rd in the line there, Isaac Smallwood, that's the spot where the potentially the winning move can come from. They're going to kind of leg back, or they're going to have to start practicing legging back to build up that momentum. So keep an eye on the distances between the drivers hugging the yellow line.
Yeah, the lap's still winding down, and like you said, Rusty, they're still going to get that second opportunity to make more moves. Everyone now just waiting. The tensions are building because someone like Mitchell and Smallwood, they're going to need some assistance, but we've got a couple drivers a little bit farther back that are maybe going to try and set up that run like we saw Smallwood do. You see here Joey Stone starting to break away a little bit from this lead 4-pack to try and get a run. We've got a group trying to break away at the tail end to get a run, but it doesn't look like they're carrying enough momentum. So Chase Williamson right now really just going to be in elbows up defense mode as Jason Mitchell trying high, trying low, but keeping behind him to keep that draft, but weighing the options you can see there of getting that push from Smallwood to try and make a move.
Yeah, Jason Mitchell's right where he wants to be, but yeah, he's got to keep that distance off his front bumper and his rear bumper to manage that gap, because those guys behind you could really get a run and move, like really get around you before you even know what's happening. But we saw in the back of the pack there, TJ McGowan really tried to get that outside line working. Nobody wanted to go with him, but the laps are winding down, so these guys are really going to have to get coordinated quick if they're going to want to win the race from the back. So take a look maybe about Joey Stone, Cody Giles, right in that position. Grant Salzano, they're going to have to really start thinking about making a move soon here, because it's going to be really almost impossible to make a winning pass from that far back with a lap or two to go.
Yeah, we've talked about it multiple times here so far in this evening's races. Teamwork does make the dream work here. You got to have someone that's willing to help you out. We see a driver break out of line here. Looks like Isaac Smallwood unable to get any assistance, though. So he's able to slide back down in that 5th position, forfeiting that top 3 running position. Joey Stone, though, like you'd mentioned, really starting to break away from the top 5 here, getting some assistance. They're going to have to carry a pretty big push of momentum. Another lap ticks down here as we get down to the final few laps in the PlayStation platform. But Joey Stone looking for that assistance. Smallwood still trying to make that outside groove work. He's got some help. Stone trying to figure out where he's going, Rusty.
Yeah, they're playing a little bit of games down the backstretch, looking for some help. Looks like they're going to wait for at least one more lap to really make their run. But we saw coming through the tri-oval, Joey Stone was lagging back big time to hopefully get some friends to maybe make that last push, the last race effort to try to go win the race. So take a look at Joey Stone. He's lagging back right there, coming through the tri-oval. This is going to be the spot to look for some passes. Coming to the we're coming to the white flag here, Hannah.
Yeah, everything is going to be on the line here as the white flag waves in the air. Mitchell's still sitting in the catbird seat with Williamson leading. Cody Giles, Grant Salzano really starting to break away from the pack. Stone trying to put together the run. His time is running out though, as he's got pushes from Castro, Gornick, Smith, and you can see it there. There's that run, Rusty, as they try that outside groove to try and contend for the lead.
And Joey's got help, and he's looking for his first career win. He's making it work. Maxwell Castro's gonna have to get up there, but Joey Stone always making contact, looking for his first career win.
3 wide in multiple places. Stone unfortunately not able. We've got cars scattering down on the apron. Contact, one into the grass. Chase Williamson though still with the lead. Drivers around. Almost a photo finish here, and it's Chase Williamson collecting the win over Jason Mitchell, Cody Giles, Grant Salzano, and Maxwell Castro. A great win for Williamson here, though. He was able to block that run from Joey Stone. Heartbreak for Stone, though, finishing in that 7th spot after having such a good run, Rusty.
Yeah, Joey almost perfectly timed it with the drivers in the back there. Needed about one more car to help kind of clear the leader, but just such perfect timing. But yeah, that's what happens when you wait to the very end of the race to kind of get to racing. But Chase Williamson, he held the bottom. He controlled the line. The guys on bottom were content to kind of push Chase Williamson to the lead, and they're going to pick up a lot of money for themselves too. So congratulations to Chase Williamson executing a perfect race. He was able to make that kind of race-winning move with a couple laps to go on the high side. Joey wasn't quite capable of pulling off the same move, but I love the effort from the drivers coming to the checker flag here today.
What a way to win a Winter Heat Championship.
Williamson, this is what it's all about as an NASCAR driver. When everything is on the line, you're kind of coming up through the qualifiers and you got the big stage and you go out there, perform and win a championship. This is how you get your name known. This is how you get your face out there. This is like, he performed, so he's done everything in the world to kind of get his name out there for these teams that might be looking to pick up a driver for the Pro League Season 3. So what a way to go out on top.
And we're going to talk to him right now, Chase Williamson, your winner here at Daytona, as well as the NASCAR Heat Winter Heat Series champion. It's been exciting to watch for sure, and continuing to watch him. So we're going to try and get Chase dialed up here. But first off, congratulations here on this championship. We got to see your excitement as you crossed the start-finish line. Before we get into what it means to you to be a champion, that final lap coming to the checkered flag, a little bit of chaos we saw on the leaderboard. Drivers swapping the lead, yourself included. Talk us through that last lap and ultimately coming to the start-finish line to collect the championship.
I knew that I have my buddy Jason. That's my good buddy. He told me before the even race, it come down to that he was gonna stay with me, and I knew that. I looked back down the back straightaway and I saw Sloppy and like 8 of them just back up. I said, "Oh Lord, here we go." I got to hold on. I got to hold my line and hope Jason can get me to the start finish line first. And Sloppy got up beside me, and I just tried to hold it down on the bottom, not hit him. And I think they got broke up on the top lane, and I don't know. We just held it off, and Jason finished 1-2.
Yeah, that's really cool, Chase. Like, it's so cool. You drove through the qualifiers. You rose up and you performed on the big stage against Pro League drivers like Joey Stone and some of these other guys. Do you have anything you want to say to potential teams looking to pick up a new driver? You went out there and kicked their butts at Daytona, 78, the BJ McLeod card. What can you tell the people?
I don't know. I just like to win. That's all. They see the checkers record for me every weekend. That's all it is. I like to win.
Checkers for records. Well, you hear it there. $4,000 richer, a championship title next to your name. Chase, one of the younger drivers here on the platform. What are you doing with $4,000?
I don't even know. It's probably going to go to my mom and then back to my own racing that I do, my own stuff back here around the house.
We can buy you a new straw too. Is that a chewed up straw from stress?
Yeah.
I think $4,000 will get you a couple extra straws there, Chase. Again, congratulations here on your championship, the race win as well. Looking forward to watching you continue your NASCAR Heat career.
Thank you all.
Chase Williamson, the winner of the race, one of our younger drivers here on the platforms. Always funny to see the different personalities, how everyone celebrates and loses differently as well. Rusty, we saw a couple drivers clearly frustrated in that Zoom, Joey Stone, Maxwell Castro being those drivers as well. Unfortunately, their chances here at the 2020 Winter Heat Series Championships is over, but we have the NASCAR Heat Pro League right around the corner. Exciting to do that. But a temporary break here allows all of these drivers here to reset, race some public lobbies. So if you haven't gotten your NASCAR Heat 5 yet, do it now. These drivers, they're going to be looking for some time to fill here. You can go race with them. But it's been an exciting Winter Heat Series, to say the least.
Yeah, I love being a part of the Winter Heat Series at every Pro League race, just to watch these drivers put on a show. You got the new names, you got the young up-and-comers like Chase Williamson go out there and win. That is insane. You talked about the personalities, just showing on display from win to defeat. That's what it's all about. These guys fighting for the $4,000, their share of $20,000. And with the Pro League coming up, I think they're going to be fighting for even a lot more money. And I cannot wait to hear the details potentially coming out for Pro League Season 3. So we're going to have to keep our eyes on social media in the coming maybe days, weeks, months. We'll see. But I live for this stuff. I cannot wait for these guys to hit the racetrack again and to show everybody at home what they're capable of.
Yeah, that Xbox race, definitely exciting there. Take a look here at the highlights of everything that we potentially may have missed here in the Xbox race for this championship finale. Chase Williamson obviously making his way to the victory, the championship, the evening, and the Winter Heat Series, Rusty, now coming to a conclusion. We've got two new champions joining the book of the NASCAR Heat Championships. Louis Zader collecting the Xbox Championship, Chase Williamson doing so on the PlayStation platform. It's been fun leading up to this, Rusty. 3 races that brought us here this evening, and many more on the horizon. Your final thoughts here on the Winter Heat Series?
I just love seeing 2 drivers with 2 of the most raw talent in the game go out there, perform on the big stage. Championship finale at Daytona, one of my favorite racetracks in the game and real life. I just cannot wait to start the momentum towards the next season, just towards the next race, the next event, anything that's coming for these drivers. We will have open lobbies, so if you want to be part of the action, you can go out there and race with these guys like we do for every Winter Heat Series event or Pro League event. You can go out there and qualify for your chance to be on this kind of big stage and race for the money and a championship. So I can't wait for those details to come out. But I got to thank everybody at home for tuning in and watching, all the drivers for putting all that work behind the scenes, the teams grinding with them, the setups, the practice, everything that goes into this. I'm so proud of everybody involved in the Winter Heat Series.
So many good things on the horizons here at NASCAR Heat. But congratulations to our winners over the Winter Heat Series and ultimately our champions, Louis Zader and Chase Williamson. We want to send a thank you to all of our fans that have joined us each and every broadcast, supported these drivers throughout their endeavors, and hung out with Rusty and I here on the NASCAR Heat broadcast. I know it's been a highlight of my off season as well, and look forward to doing many more. So for all of you that have hung out with us and our drivers, we want to thank you. We look forward to the next time we see you here on NASCAR Heat. I'm Hannah Newhouse for Rusty Walrus and all of our friends at Motorsports Game and NASCAR Heat. We look forward to seeing you guys next time here for the Winter Heat Series or the NASCAR Heat Pro League. Have a good evening.